What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division Resurgence video, where today we're going to talk all about the Dark Zone, and I'm going to give you all the information you need to know before you jump into that cold-hearted place. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So if you go into your activity playlist at the top of your screen, you can see the Dark Zone. A couple of things that is rather interesting about the Dark Zone is do you actually have the ability to do targeted loot. Now, it's not targeted loot as in gear, it is actually mods. But if you click on them, you can see here, you get the 2 set and the 3 set piece bonuses, and you can choose which ones you want to target a farm, which is rather nice depending on what specialization you have got and you want to actually choose. So I'm going to put that one back on and we're going to back out. As well, there is a limit to how many credits you can actually farm each week. So you can see here, Dark Zone credits are obtained upon completing Dark Zone sessions. You can use them at the Dark Zone vendor at the base of operations to purchase exclusive rewards. You're allowed to get 10,000 a week. But if you do deconstruct any of the mods that we have just talked about, you actually get a small amount of credits as well. And that doesn't count towards your actual currency cap. There are some things that you can use in the Dark Zone that require Dark Zone intel, and we'll talk about them just a little bit later in the video. But there is a reason why these are important here as well. And you can see here that you have a cap for that at 20,000 as well. But like I said, these reset weekly. If you go into the base of operations, you can see the vendor. And if you have a chat with him, you can see he drops these chips. These are the ones that if you deconstruct them, you actually get Dark Zone currency back. But don't buy and deconstruct because you don't get as many back. Not anywhere near close. These ones are really, 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 really good. You can see here, you get the set bonus here, and you can see exactly what it is that you're getting. And all this stuff re-rolls personally to you every day. You can see the refresh time up here at the top if you're wondering. But it does get better. If we scroll down, you have a variety of guns as well. You can see here, because I've at my level, I've actually got T1 guns available in here. So if one shows up, you might want to actually snag it if it's something that you've not actually got before. And you can see all the way down, you can see there as well, all the different types of guns. Now we get into the interesting parts. You can see here, you actually get the recal book for the Lady Death. These do drop from bosses in the DZ, so I don't think as you can see, I've got 21, so I don't feel like I'll ever need to buy any and waste credits. So certainly don't jump to buying these things unless you really, really need them, because the credits, like I said, do have a limited factor. You can see here, there's also the recal book for the Lady Death as well. I've got 4. Again, these drop out of the DZ with the bosses. You can see the Lady Death as well, but just before you jump in and buy it, definitely check out what talent it has. You can see mine's got Steady Hands and Rapid Charge too, but this will change every day. So only pick it up when you know it's one that you're actually happy with. We also get exotic weapon enhancement kits, which are used to upgrade the tier of an exotic weapon. I've got one of these from elsewhere, but I might actually pick these up. But it does look like these are just a total limit forever. It's not a monthly limit or a daily limit. There's no other timer associated with it. So certainly no rush to pick this up. I did buy the Warlord Tactical Augment to make my Warlord better. It does give you a good power boost. That was the first thing that I purchased. And now I'm going to grind back up so that I've got enough credits for a Lady Death if a good one comes on sale. You also get the Augment for the Lady Death here as well. And then there is some vanity. If you've got an excess of credits and nothing else to buy, you can get yourself some pretty cool looking rogue vanity. So that might be something that you want to purchase as well. Alright, so we are in the Dark Zone. You can enter by yourself. You can choose to go in as a group, whichever you want. If you pull up your map when you get in, you've got a whole bunch of things that you're able to do. You've got contaminated areas, you've got landmarks. They'll be pretty familiar if you played the Division before, and this will be very familiar if you played the Division 1 before, because the map is pretty much identical. You also have these bosses that you can see here. If I can click on him, the DZ enemy leader, and they can be pretty tough, I'm not going to lie. And they again also have their own difficulty, which you can see attached to the right hand side of the skull, with this guy here being the heroic one in the middle, who is extremely tough. They have a 10-minute respawn timer, so you can't just pop in and out of the DZ if you want to, but you can see all the way up the middle of the map they are around. So what we are going to do, we're going to go and clear out something nice and easy because I am by myself. But as expected, you can see the quality of loot when you click on the difficulty of the actual landmark, depending on, you know, what it is that you are doing and how high of a level that you actually are. There is a timer up at the top for 20 minutes. That means each session that you get is 20 minutes. And to be honest, once you kind of get in here, I would definitely recommend picking up ammo because it doesn't necessarily restock you. Other boxes that you will see around the DZ will give you DZ credits. They are limited to 10,000 credits a week. So just be a little bit cautious with them if you're planning on spending them for your dailies, or if you're planning on spending them from the actual vendor who is in the right hand side of the base of operations when you get in, because he does as well sell vanity, which I think will make him extremely popular as it's a very rogue-like looking vanity. So we're just going to head to a landmark, and I will do a landmark just so you can see exactly what it is like. So essentially it gives you like a wave system. So you'll kill some, you'll get waves, and then you'll move on to the next. But these boxes are all definitely worth doing. And in the commendation menu, there's a whole bunch of commendations that you can claim for being in the DZ that evolve around extracting, looting boxes, doing landmarks, doing bosses, and things like that. So if you're a title hunter or a commendation hunter in this game, you're going to want to be doing that. So here we are at the landmark, nothing different here. All of the enemies in here, or a lot of them, will have some kind of damage bonus on them, so be aware of that. You might want to make sure you bring the correct weapons. If you die, you can respawn or choose to exit. Been playing Division 2, so my mouse is all kinds of wonky. Definitely a strange feeling flipping between the games. And if you are interested in how I'm playing obviously emulated. I know I've talked about that quite a lot. Whoa, and there you go. This is a good example of what happens. So I'll keep this as it is and I'll show you. So if you die, you can see that all my loot fell to the floor. Next step, you can either give up or you can respawn. So the DZ at my level is certainly no slouch. So I'm going to head back to that landmark and I'm going to continue it just so I can show you, but I'll pause the video until I get back. Just like in normal Division, you can click your last death location and track your way back. Just while I'm tracking back, actually, before I carry on, I just want to mention a couple of things. If you die in the DZ, what is interesting is that the loot you drop, if somebody else picks that loot up, it's not the loot that you dropped. It actually randomizes the loot. So if you get killed by a rogue agent, what it is that you pick up will actually be different to what it is that was dropped from your bag. Now, I know that might sound a little bit odd, but for reasons that I can only think about, it's to stop a real money kind of trading thing happening, or people essentially just sharing loot that would just be a very much reoccurring thing over and over and over and over and over again, because people could bring people in from a much lower level and bring, you know, and find potentially god roll loot and just pass it on. Now I know we can do that in the Division 2, but this is a mobile game, a little bit different. But yeah, you can imagine they want to stay away from any potential real money kind of trading. That could be pretty disastrous for the game. This guy hits me really, really hard. I'm so used to having a tank in my group. And there you go, we cleared the landmark. You can see it resets in 3 minutes. But that's a good example there. You see at the top, we got a feat. So what that is that the longer you are in here, a bit like survival, you will get feats. And when you exit, you get better rewards for the more that you have done. So what I'll do next, I'm going to head to a safe house. And I'll show you what a safe house is like, because that actually is a little bit different. It's easy for me to run around right now because there is hardly anybody else in my DZ bracket. So DZ is bracketed depending on your level. So you may or may not, depending on how much you have played the game, reach and see many more agents, or you might have a really quiet time in the DZ. Gonna try and avoid these. Ooh, a bit of lag there. So you can see here, the DZ, it all looks very familiar if you played Division 1 Survival. We've reached the target and we can go in. Now, there's something very, very different about these. You can see here, there is a smuggling ring when you go in here. And if there is rogue agents absolutely everywhere outside, you can actually ask them to smuggle your contaminated loot out. It will cost you 300 of the DZ currency, and they'll smuggle out 3 items for you if you want to get them items out. If you're going rogue and you want to see where everybody is, you can actually get, for credits, you can view the positions of other agents for 30 seconds and give yourself that little bit of an advantage. And also you can reset your infection level. So you can see at the moment I've got no infection level, and we'll talk about that and how you get infection level in just a moment. But if you have been doing the contaminated areas, you can come here and get it reset, and then you can go back into other contaminated areas. Also, if you are rogue and you turn around here, you can see there's one of these hacked SHD terminals. You can interact with that and turn your rogue status off as well. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to head outside. Just going to hide from that guy for a moment. And I'm going to take a quick look on my map. And what I'm going to show you is this contaminated area just here. Because there is a little bit of an icon that we get. All right, so you can see here I'm in the contaminated area. And you can see to the right hand side of my health, all of a sudden, there is a contaminated percentage bar that is slowly filling up. If that reaches 100, you will die extremely fast and you will drop your loot. Essentially, though, you can just respawn and go back and get it, because when you die, it will reset your level. But that's just something that I wanted you to be aware of. Next up, let's talk about those contaminated, or not contaminated, those bosses that we talked about right at the beginning that have different difficulty levels. So you can see here, I am with my buddy Ryan, and we are just heading to, oh, he's already there, I'm lagging behind, but we are heading to the heroic boss of the DZ. Now, there's only one of these in the DZ. He changes the faction that he is every time that he spawns. That doesn't really matter. You are just going to get loot from them as always. But essentially what you need to do is you need to clear out the area, including his friends and the boss himself. They are pretty tough. I would guess everything in the DZ is probably kind of structured around a 4-man group, much rather than solo. So just be aware of that as well. But once you kill the boss, not only do you get loot from the boss, you also get a boss loot box that you can see around the, I'm kind of running around there. There it is. There you can see it says boss loot on him. So we're going to kill Jabbers really quick. It will take a while. These things do soak up a lot of damage. And when you finally put enough damage into him, which we almost have here now, we're taking his armor off with the certain weapon type. Get him down. And he's out of there. There you go. You can see he drops loot. You get your DZ intel and things like that. And then you can open the boss loot box. This boss loot box takes a long time to open. So if there is rogue agents around, please do be exceptionally careful, because they might just come in and you might just be dead before you've even opened the box. Next, I want to talk about extraction. So you can see I am at the extraction right now at the 47th Street. This guy is shooting me, but you can see that we have got sentry turrets, and if we interact with these, we can actually deploy it again for currency. And when you do that, it will do exactly what you think. It will shoot the enemies when it sees them to help you out. I have to excuse the frame drops right there. I'm not really sure what is going on. So then I can call my extraction. And he's dead. But if any enemies become visible there at that point, it will help you out. So if you're in there by yourself, you're struggling. There you go, you can hear it now. There you go, it's doing the work. You've got yourself a little bit of backup. Now, they don't last forever, so do be cautious. But if you do need that little bit of backup, then you are good to go. And then there is nothing else left to do apart from extract. So you'll call the extraction just as you normally would in the other Division games. You have to wait a minute. You'll get some ads that will spawn as well, so you'll need to take them down. But there is something that is a little bit different about this game. If you've not seen any of my previous videos about the Dark Zone, or you've not actually had a chance to play it yet, because the game obviously is out now worldwide on iOS and Android. What is different is once you've waited that 1 minute, you will get a second rope. And what that second rope will allow you to do, it will actually allow you to extract from the Dark Zone without returning to one of the doors. So as you can see, the second rope appeared. You can click on it and you can extract. Now, if you use the smuggler, if you go and check your stash, just like your extracted drops, all the things will be in there for you to claim if you chose to take that way to get your loot out, because it was a very rogue heavy DZ. But yeah, that is probably anything and everything that you can get from the Dark Zone. You can see there the feats where you get bonuses and the credits and the Dark Zone credits that you get for actually participating. So Survivalist, Salvage, Reaper, Enemy Leader, Neutralizer, I think that one is. So the more things you do, the more you will receive. But then you're able to just load back in and go again. So I hope that's given you some insight to what the Dark Zone works like. Let me know if it's been helpful. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, agents, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.